Hey everyone, I'm your host, Rob J, and here are my top 7 reasons you'll love Friday the 13th on the Nintendo Entertainment System. I gotta say, and I can't believe I'm saying this, LJN did a great job using source material in this video game. I know Jason looks kinda goofy with his purple suit and teal blue shoes and mask, but they had to make him stand out from the backgrounds and especially make him stand out during the night cycle. The ultimate objective in this game is to defeat Jason every day for 3 days and keep the camp counselors and children alive. You do have some flexibility in losing some camp counselors and kids, but if your children counter goes to 0, you lose. If you lose all of your camp counselors, you lose. Now I know it looks kind of silly fending off Jason with rocks, knives, and his own machete, which doesn't make any sense, but they had to incorporate some weapons to deal damage to him. You can't exactly incorporate machine guns or voodoo magic at a camp. Maybe the voodoo magic though, you never know. They also incorporated his mom into the game as this terrifying floating head, which kind of resembles Medusa. She is a sub-boss, so she is optional. I know in the very beginning of the game, they explain to the player that they need to light all the fireplaces in the big cabins. This again is not related to the movie, but a fun goal, as when you complete this, you'll get a flashlight for the cave and gain access to the strongest weapon in the game as long as you're picking up the notes. Overall, yes, LJN took some elements from the movie into the game, but they had to incorporate their own elements to have a list of goals and objectives to follow. Fighting Jason can be quite challenging in the beginning, but with practice, you can easily defeat him in the cabin or on the pathway. In the cabin, it's going to look similar to Punch-Out. Jason will either do 1 strike or 2 strikes. He gives an obvious tell of when he's going to do a 2 strike as he picks up his speed. You can dodge his strikes by hitting down left or down right on your D-pad. On the pathways, he throws axes, and to my understanding is that if he reaches the end of the screen, he's definitely going to throw an axe. When he's in the middle of the screen, just keep your distance, as I find it's a bit random as to when he will throw an axe. An important note is that Jason deals less damage on the pathways. In the cabins, he hits pretty damn hard. Day 1 Jason in the cabin is pretty easy to defeat. Day 2 Jason in the cabin, he switches his speed from day 1 and day 3. Yeah, that's what he does. Day 3 Jason in the cabin, he's at his top speed and he becomes extremely difficult. You're going to need some practice against him on day 3 because I had a tough time with him. Let me know in the comments below if there's a good strategy because he's pretty much Mike Tyson on day 3. Camp Crystal Lake has been incorporated really well in this video game. You have the pathways to the cabins, the forest, the cave, and of course, the lake. It's pretty neat that Jason makes an appearance in the lake from time to time. I know everyone has a difficult time navigating through this game, but you just have to understand the game's quirkiness. In time, you'll understand how to navigate through the forest, caves, and pathways to save the children and camp counselors. If you get really good at navigating, you'll understand how to hunt Jason, and yes, that's a thing. Something to note is that depending on the time of day, as you're navigating through the dirt pathways, the zombie spawns will be different. During the morning-evening cycle, zombies will spawn 1 at a time. During the sunset cycle, zombies will spawn 2 at a time. During the night cycle, zombies will spawn 3 at a time. I have never seen a more depressing and dark game over screen for an 8-bit video game in all of my life. You and your friends are dead. Game over. Just imagine being a kid and playing this game and your mom or dad walks into the room and sees this. They're going to be pretty shocked and probably tell you to turn off the game and return it. They couldn't have just said, "You lost against Jason, game over." They had to go the extra mile and just say, "You and your friends are dead, game over." On a positive note, Thank goodness they didn't add a terrifying graphic of Jason holding your head or anything. Yeah, that would have been a little bit much. Acquiring items in this game is a lot of fun, as you're trying to prep yourself to go up against Jason. The odd thing though, is that in order to make items appear, you have to jump, and the very first item you will obtain is the lighter. Once you get the lighter, then you can collect other items. As you're lighting fireplaces, you'll come across notes, which lets you know the whereabouts of other weapons, such as a machete, axe, pitchfork, or torch. You can arm the other camp counselors with various weapons and health packs, and by doing this, you can strategize where to put the camp counselors when the Jason alarm goes off. You do have the option to beat the whole game with using one camp counselor, but it's nice to have the option to use other camp counselors as well. If you acquire the torch, do not take any other weapon as you'll lose it, and as far as I know, you cannot make it appear again. The sweater is the only and best defensive item you can get in the whole game, and you have to defeat Jason's mom on the second day in order to obtain it. Whoever is getting the sweater, make sure they're armed with a torch, because then you'll have an unstoppable camp counselor. The cabins are a bit confusing at first to explore, but you have to appreciate how ambitious this was back in the day. Yes, they're empty, but that was only due to the limit of memory in the game. I also think it's a lot scarier when Jason appears in these empty cabins, as he's literally coming out of nowhere. Like I've said before, the only purpose for you to go into the cabins is to save the children, camp counselors, switch between the camp counselors, and to acquire notes to let you know the whereabouts of certain weapons. Give it some time, as you'll pick up how to navigate through the cabins pretty quickly. I was surprised to see this game go for 20 bucks online and even at my local game shop. Then again, I understand this game was hated by almost everyone due to its difficulty and it received poor reviews. In all honesty, I say it's worth 20 bucks. There's a learning curve to it, but once you understand its quirky mechanics, you're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you liked what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Rob J. Thank you for entering the Nova, and I'll see you next time. Take care.